Welcome to Moments with Priscilla Umeda. My name is Priscilla Umeda. I'm so grateful you're here again. Welcome back. Now, if this is your first time, please could you do me the honor of subscribing to this channel. This channel is about you and me, connecting through shared experience, creating a safe space where we can unapologetically grow. Growth is the key, growing every aspect of our lives so we can be a better version of ourselves and then walk in alignment with our divine purpose. All right? There's always a reason why we are all created. Our journeys might be different, but there is a purpose for every one of us. So my job, your job, is that we connect to support and guide each other. Growth and journey can be very lonely, but doing it together make it very easy. That being said, welcome to episode 3. It is about creating healthy boundaries. Boundaries are not a sign of weakness. They are healthy for creating a healthy relationship. So if you haven't popped your corn yet, grab the snacks. I ask you to please go get them. So let's get into it. What is self-boundary? Let me first clarify. They are not walls, okay? They're simply healthy bridges that allow you to reflect, all right? To detox whatever that doesn't serve you and then to grow. And by doing that, you're serving yourself and you're serving others that you show up for. But you can't show up for others if you don't show up for yourself first. And to do that, you have got to create this healthy bridge that allow you to be at your optimal so you can serve others optimally. Why do we need to set boundaries? Priscilla, why do I need to set boundaries? I set boundaries because it is a sign for self-respect for me and then for you. Because if I don't respect myself, I cannot respect you. I'm just personalizing it, and I hope you are too. The second reason is if I don't do it, I'm going to burn out. There will be resentment. I lash out. Here's why. I never set boundaries. I allow people talk over me. I want to please people. I don't want to hurt their feelings. So what you don't take care of at the back end shows up at the front end. Why does boundary matter? It matters because when I do not show up for myself, when I don't fill my cup, I constantly pour onto others. It just leads me to burnout. That's another reason why you have to create boundaries. See, everybody have capacity. When you keep taking on, which is me, guilty as charged. I take on and I take on. I don't say no. You know what happened? I burn out. And then I react in a way that I'm no longer going to be proud of, or that I'm not proud of. Does that sound familiar? Leave a comment below. Have you experienced you not setting a boundary coming right back to hurt you or to actually make you look bad that you are not supposed to be? And oftentimes our intentions are right. You see what I'm saying? So take a moment now and ask, why do you think boundaries are necessary? They are necessary because they are a sign of respect for ourselves and for others. They are necessary because it does help us to allow into ourselves what is permissible, what is good, what uplifts us, what builds us up. If this channel is about growth, then we need to start looking at the things that we have allowed. What is our responsibility to self-development? Do we have healthy boundaries? Are we actually enforcing it? Are we communicating that boundary that we've created to know it doesn't matter who, to anyone, enter into our space where it costs us peace, costs us our authentic selves? Are we doing that? So if we haven't set a boundary, if we haven't communicated what our boundaries are, people are not going to read our mind, abide by our boundaries. They're going to poke it. Heck yeah, even when we have communicated, some people still will poke your boundaries. They will try. But if you're consistent in enforcing those healthy boundaries, trust me, they adhere, they fall in line. It is a good thing that comes out of when we enforce it, when we create one and enforce it. You feel me? If you're feeling me, leave a comment below. I want to know, do you have any bound? Have you set one? If you haven't, I want you to journal it out today. You need it because people won't stop except you stop them. People don't know what is good or bad for you except you communicate. All right? Why does boundary matter? I'm going to go one step further. See, culture has a thing on us. I'm an African girl, raised to be submissive, raised to not ask questions. You do so much because you're a woman, all right? Raised to have good grades be the farmer, work more because you're a mother, you're going to be somebody's wife. Literally, you are raised and packaged for the simple reason that you are going to be a mother, a wife to somebody. You are also raised to be the domestic one. You can never ask your husband to come help you in the kitchen because that's a woman's world. So an African girl that is also raised to have good grades, get education, be a lawyer, doctor like the men. Now, this space I'm creating is not just for women. There are also men who have been raised to shut up, keep quiet, you're a provider, so that even when their jobs, though they have gone through education, though they have all these accolades, but they are not getting a job that serves the purpose or that can take care of their homes. So the pressure mounts on. All those unhealthy habits culminate into what we have become and how we show up in our adult lives as we are. And this is why we all need to take a holistic look at our lives. How has culture also bent us or created this problem that we are all dealing with now? Right? So for me, I go back to my example and my story. So I'm one of 8 children, 6 brothers, 1 sister who came second to the last, which is way down the line. So I cook for the family, I clean while the boys are playing. I'm stuck in the kitchen. Right? I have to be the one to farm while they come. They have their duties. They will cut the grass. And after that, I am responsible for tilling the ground, planting the seeds because that's not their job anymore. You can imagine all of that pressure on my life. On the downside, it had so much pressure and expectations of people on my life. So I grew up taking on more than I can possibly ever carry. And the consequence is, if I'm angry, it's all as a result of this much pressure without nobody measuring or understanding my capacity. That's why we have Moments with Priscilla Umeda, because mine is from experience. And I'm sharing it with you whom I think you also have an experience. But if we don't do nothing about it, brother, sister, we'll burn out, we'll crash, we'll make enemies because we'll be hurting people that we shouldn't hurt. Sounds familiar? And when your cup is full, it will spill over. That's what I don't want for you and me, because it's never a good feeling. Because people will not know what our cultural background have done. Don't even get me started about religion, our religious experience, our environment. Remember, we are all products of our experiences and our upbringing or our community. We go to church tells you cannot do this, you can't do that. Hey, of course, no fornication. That's the scripture. That's true. So then you get married, no premarital sex. So you don't date because you're not allowed. As a believer, you're not allowed to be in close space where you are able to know this person in their natural habitat. You're not able to know. So you fall in love. I don't even know if there's a true love there. You just get married because you're checking off all the boxes. And this applies to men and women. And then what happens? You get married to a stranger, come together, no tools on how to even overcome this. Even in marriage counseling, they're just going to reiterate what I've just expressed. You're not supposed to do this. You need to take care of this person. What are the tools to do those things? None provided. So you now go swim or sink. People today are blaming the rates of divorce on people who are greedy or not. No. You didn't raise them up with tools. You didn't provide them with tools. The example some of us saw, whether it's man or woman, is a woman who had to do so much and a husband who had to provide. So even when he doesn't have money, he would have to either the family suffers, don't have enough to feed with, or they get scammed. And so fear of all of that, to not be boxed in those or not be found wanting, make us to do crazy things. So, because in the church, while we get all this counseling, you also don't have people who psychologically understand how to equip us. What tools do they bring to the table? It's just the religious one. It's religious based. But we live in a world, we don't live in a religious environment. So how do you come out of that bubble to now face a world that is way wild, dangerous and cruel? So the reason when you wake up now and we have in this podcast is so that we are able to say, I cannot tell you how many women as a result of the religious bridges and boxing that haven't gotten married, no child. and they wake up very late, angry, bitter. Some backslide along the line. I can go on and tell you the impediments to our growth: cultural, personal, the one we inflict on ourselves, religious, family, relationship. Make up the list. Sounds familiar? A lot of us have our purposes on hold because we are afraid if we actualize, if we go after them, we're going to be failing the principles that brought us here, that raised us, whether family, religion. We don't want to fail our parents. So these are all the reasons why we don't self-develop. We don't break the norm. Today, you and I are going to break, challenging you to break it. Do it for you. Create a healthy environment, a healthy boundary, so that people don't get to dictate what you should be. You do it yourself, and you welcome them to that expectation. You can't develop if you are living on people's expectation. That's why we set boundaries, so that we can develop and grow. When do we know when to set that boundary? When you become afraid to speak to people for fear that they might not receive what you want to tell them. Set that boundary when you now start to over communicate on something you could have. One sentence becomes 10 sentences. Whew, guilty as charged. See, I'm not telling you what I don't know. I'm telling you what I've lived, good or bad. It took a moment of me going backward to figure out, what? Have you ever tried being in the presence of somebody? You went into this presence to say no, and you end up saying yes. Then you come out of it feeling so angry with yourself. You should have just said no. Why did you end up saying yes? It's fear. It's fear-bound. You know it's time to set a boundary when you now start to over-communicate your choices. As opposed to you go there, have a clear idea of what you want to say. You go there and now you are over-communicating choices. Round and round. Sounds familiar? You know it's time to set that boundary when you think that if you speak the truth, that people will look at you as if you're selfish. You're trying to control, or it's not control. I'm just saying I wouldn't want to do this because it does not serve my peace. And then they say, oh, so if it didn't please you, we won't do it. No, it was not about you. How it makes me feel. If I participate in this, it does not serve me morally or doesn't serve my peace. Nobody wants to hear that. Set the boundaries anyway. You need to reevaluate if boundaries need to be set if you are overcompensating, where you show up in people's presence and you get drained when you come out of their presence, or even on phone. Every time this person calls you, you're scared to pick the call because it always ends up very toxic. It's time to set boundaries. Because your yes should be your yes and your no. It's time to set boundaries when you start to feel less of yourself when you're done with that conversation or meeting with a person or being in a certain environment. You come back really feeling shitty of yourself. It's time to set boundaries because it's not serving you well. Everything that is making you be guilty of these situations that I've just mentioned, these 4 examples I've given, it's unhealthy for you. It's going to make you show up weak. It's going to make you show up unhealthy. It's going to make you impact people and yourself negatively. It's also going to drain you. So beat it by setting that boundary. I'm going to show up myself. And one way I show up for myself is to speak the truth, whether you receive it or not. And you don't explain further. Make sure that you're very clear and succinct. It's so important. So, may I give you 3 examples of how you can set healthy boundaries. Number 1, thank you for thinking about me like that. I appreciate what you've told me, but give me some moment to check with my capacity. I'll get back to you. Because at that moment you are expected, the conversation could have prompted you to say something now and here. But you know that you need to gather your thoughts together before you can, you can express that, you can give that response. So it's okay to take a minute by giving yourself time to gather your thoughts and then come out your full self. So that's a good way you set a soft and gentle boundary. Or somebody tells you something that you absolutely will not do. You said, but I appreciate you. I don't think that will serve my peace now. So I'm going to say no to that. Why? I think that you should just respect what I've said. I'm going to say no. It's not going to serve my purpose. And don't go further than that. The last one will be, I love you. I won't be able to do what you have asked now. That favor, I'm not able to do it now. You're saying now because you never know if by the next time they come up with something that you can do. You're leaving room for further conversation of something different. But the one for now that they're asking, you're succinct. You're clear. I'm not able to do that. Why? I'm just not able to do that. And you don't argue. And if the person goes further, may I call you back? It's okay to do all that, people. We take on too much. We leave ourselves behind and we take on others all the time. And then we burn out. The result, we lash out. We are mad. We are resentful. We become someone else that we don't even like when everybody's gone. So having heard all that we've discussed in this episode, setting healthy boundaries, the essentials of healthy boundaries, why we should set healthy boundaries, and when we know it's time to set healthy boundaries, right? Now that you've known all this, may I ask that you take a deep breath with me? Let's go together. I told you this is a shared space, you and I. So come on, let's take a deep breath. Ooh, it's freeing to do that, right? You do it again. Yeah, you release all that toxicity. Do it. Do it with me. I'm asking you to do it. So now let's go one step further. How does it feel? Now that you've known, you've heard what we need to be doing to better you, to better me, and to better us as a community. Are you going to set healthy boundaries? Please do it. Do it in love. Do it with love. Do it calmly. And do it now. So no delay. Do it now. 2 moments of reflection, 2 questions I want you to ask yourself. Why am I afraid to set healthy boundaries? Trust me, it will gut out the things that are holding you back. And what part of my life am I overextending? Because each of these will involve of your peace, of your capacity, and it works against the alignment towards a divine purpose for yourself. Write that down, and then I'm telling you, it will prompt you to find the answers to them. And finally, if this episode resonates with you, I ask, please do me the honor of sharing with your friends, your loved one, anyone and everyone that you know, so that they can honor themselves first too. Because we all honor every other person but ourselves. So please share, tag and like, and most important, ask them to please subscribe to this channel, and they need to hit this little bell, because when you hit that little bell, you know when I'm putting up a video. If you know somebody that have dishonored themselves because they did not create healthy boundary, I ask that you share this episode. On this conclusive note, I'm asking you to please honor yourself, set healthy boundaries. Healthy boundaries are not selfish, they are sacred. I'll see you next time in episode 4, where we declutter. We'll be discussing about decluttering our lives. Thank you for watching. It's me, Priscilla Umeda, and this is Moments with Priscilla Umeda, where we create a safe space for us to connect, share our experiences, become and grow. A community that supports you to self-develop. See you next time. Bye-bye.